I appreciate y'all for supporting the channel, man. 7 signs you are under demonic attack. Man, first of all, y'all hit that like button, y'all hit that share button, y'all subscribe to the channel. Also, too, man, donate. Don't hate, guys, all right? So, we about to get into it in a minute. About what's going on. Let me look this up. All right. First of all, I want y'all to go to my Instagram, y'all, and follow it, subscribe to it. You know, same thing. You know, this is my Instagram right here, y'all. Cole.manxx. Alright? Cole.manxx. Alright, y'all? Alright, so we're finna get into it. 7 signs you are under demonic attack. Satan will try to take your mind off God. Guys, I'm trying to tell you, Satan will try to take your mind off God by using the people, places, and things of this world. You know what I'm saying? That's just like God. That's just like Satan. He took God up. He took Christ up to a very, very high mountain. And then he told him that he can give him the world. You know what I'm saying? And God, in Christ, he rebuked it, Satan. You know what I'm saying? He rebuked it. He rebuked it him. You know what I'm saying? He said he's following his father, which is God, man. You know what I'm saying? That's what he's propagating, right? That's what Christ propagated when he was on this earth. But you guys gotta understand that Satan, man, he will try to get your mind off God. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, God said meditate on him daily, right? Now, of course, you can't be too heavily minded to the point where you're no earthly good, right? We know that for a fact. But you guys got to understand, man, that Satan, he's going to try to do everything in his power to keep your mind off God. You know, that's his job. That's Satan's will. You know what I'm saying? To get everyone to go to his place, which is hell, right? To keep everybody at a low vibration. My bad, y'all. I forgot to cut on the light. My bad, y'all. You know, I'm so hyped to do this. But you guys gotta understand, man, when it comes down to Satan, he's very, very conniving. He's trying to deceive you. You know, his will is to deceive the whole entire earth, the whole entire world. You know what I'm saying? And he's deceiving a lot of people each and every day, man. A lot of people, they're staying carnal-minded. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to grow in God. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to become spiritual-minded, which is acclimated to having that God consciousness. You know, they don't want to tap into that. They want to stay worldly minded. You know, they want to be, well, I got this and you don't have that. You know, I'm better than you because I got this and you ain't got that. You know, that's a carnal mind, guys. You know, this side of the devil, this side he distracts you with things of this world. Things that's made by man. Things that's made by hand. Right? You know what I'm saying? So you guys gotta understand, man, that when it comes down to Satan, Satan will do everything in his power to try to distract you. This is a sign that, you know, that's a demonic attack. You know what I'm saying? When you focusing on you know, earthly things, you're supposed to be focusing on heavenly things, right? You know what I'm saying? But you don't want to be too heavily minded to the point where you're no earthly good, right? You don't want to do that as well. So you gotta have a balance, guys, all right? But you gotta make sure your mind is stay focusing on God, you know, throughout the day. You know what I'm saying? You gotta make sure that you got good energy, right? You carrying God's spirit, you allowing God's spirit to work his energy in your life, right? So this sign that you up under demonic attack. Satan using different things to try to get you off course so you will not focus on God. You know what I'm saying? That's nothing but the tricks of the devil. That's the tricknology. I mean, excuse me. That's the tricknology that the devil, he tried to use against us, right? Because he know we got flesh, right? You know what I'm saying? He know we got, you know, we have our own ways, right? But God's ways is not our ways. God's thoughts is not our thoughts. But God, he can order our footsteps if we allow him to come in. So you guys that allow God to come in, all right, guys? Number 2, another sign you are under demonic attack. Satan will try to put you away from your purpose. Yup. Satan will try to put you away from your purpose, right? And how he puts you away from it. You know, he tried to get you to focus on other things. Get you to focus on, you know, let's say if you're on your purpose, right, and you a guy, focus on women, you know what I'm saying? You start worshiping that, worshiping clothes, worshiping, it's sort of like, it's sort of like number 1, right? You got to stay on your purpose. You know what I'm saying? Us chosen ones that's connected to God, right? Us spiritual children that's connected to God. We got to stay on our purpose for God. We got to do what God wants us to do. You know what I'm saying? If we want to receive His grace, if we want to receive His love, His mercy, right? You know, if we want to receive His blessings, we gotta stay on course, man. We gotta stay on the narrow path. We cannot allow Satan to stop us now. You know what I'm saying? Every new level there's gonna be a new demon. You know what I'm saying? Every new level there's gonna be a new demon. They try to come in like a flood and try to attack you, right? Because the devil, he come in as like a roaring lion, right? But God said He'll never leave us nor forsake us. He'll be forever with us, you know, even to the end of the world. So as long as we got God with us, you know, we got God's protection. You know what I'm saying? As long as we doing God's work, we got God's protection. And as long as we have God in our life, we got God's protection. You know what I'm saying? So the devil, he gonna try to do different things to try to pull you away from your purpose. You guys gotta understand, man, that you know it's not about my will, but it's about God's will in my life. All right, guys. So you guys gotta understand that, man. All right. So we gotta allow the Spirit of God to work His energy in our lives. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people, they're not doing that. They think everything is all about them. Excuse me. They don't want to do what God said. They want to do what they want to do. Right? You know, they want to stay stuck in that carnal mind. Right? All right. So, number 3, Satan will use your friends to go against you. You guys got to understand that this is something that you're up under demonic attack. Satan will use your friends to go up against you, man. You know what I'm saying? Because, your friends, a lot of our friends, they're carnal minded, but they'll see, we got to get away from these type of people. Because that's not our spiritual, those are not our spiritual friends. You know, we got carnal-minded so-called friends, and we got spiritual friends. We need to be around our spiritual friends. We got to be around people that's like-minded. You know, because the devil, like I said, you gotta resist the devil when he'll flee. You know what I'm saying? Because the devil, like I said, he's going to try to attack you. You know, he's gonna try to use your friends to try to get you to smoke. He's going to try to use your friends to try to get you to drink. He's going to try to use your friends to try to get you to go back to your old self. You know what I'm saying? The Bible says, you know, once you saved by God, the old man, the old woman has been put to death, and behold, all things become new. Right? Now you got a new mind in God. You got a new spirit. You got a new walk. You got a new talk. Right? When you ain't God. You're not going to allow these demonic friends. See, those are not your friends. So, you know, when you met those friends that when you was at a carnal-minded state, you was not connected to God yourself. So you got to detach your friends. You got to get some new friends. Right? See, it's a lot of sacrifices going to have to be made when you are connected to God. You know what I'm saying? Even your own family members. They not gonna see. Yeah, they your earthly family, but you got a spiritual family that God got in store for you. You know what I'm saying? That you need to be around. Some of our family members, they're not connected to God. They still carnal-minded. They still trying to serve two masters. The Bible says you can't serve two masters. You got to love one and dislike the other. It's facts, guys. You know what I'm saying? And some of our family members, they worshiping the devil. They down with Satanism, right? They down with the devil. You know, our friends, when we met, when we was carnal-minded, they connected to the devil. But now we spiritual. We got a spiritual mind, right? In God. You know, we're growing in God. We do because we're doing the will of God, right? So you guys gotta understand, man. When it comes down to your friends, man, Satan's gonna try to use them against you. You're up under demonic attack, and these are your old friends that you have detached yourself from. They're gonna try to pop up back up in your life and bring up your past, right? So they can hinder your future. They gonna, you know, you gotta watch out for them old friends, man, that you detach yourself from. They'll try to bring up your past so they can hinder your future that God got for you. See, they trying to hinder your blessing. You know what I'm saying? You know, they know that God is about to run your cup over. They know God is about to give you a breakthrough. And then they'll come in your life, right, as a roaring lion, like the devil. You know, they'll be using fallen angel spirit by a demon to come up in your life to try to test you. Because we will be tested, guys, on this journey. You know what I'm saying? We will be tested. You know what I'm saying? But we got to make sure that we lean not to our own understanding. But we acknowledge God. And if we acknowledge God and put God first, you know what I'm saying? Because God first, He's the first in the beginning and the last, right? If we put Him first in our life, then we don't have to worry about our friends, intervening between us and God. We ain't got to worry about that. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, we got God in our lives. God said he'll stick close to you than a brother, then a sister, then a mother, then a father. Right? If you allow him to work his energy in your life. All right, guys? So you guys got to understand that you can resist the devil too. You can resist those old school friends. You can resist them. You know what I'm saying? Because you got a strong mind in God. You believe that you can do all things through Christ, who strengthens you. And when you believe that you can do all things through Christ, who strengthens you, you put it into action. Faith without works is dead. You got to put it into action. You just can't say it. You got to carry that out. You got to materialize. And guys, they got to see God in your life, working his energy in your life. They got to see the Spirit of God all over you. Right? When you in your walk and your talk. They got to see that, guys. All right? So this is something that you'll put on the demonic attack. All right, guys. Number 4. Satan will try to bring up your past. Satan's going to try to bring up your past, guys. Yep. Like I said, when you connected to God, right, Satan's going to try to bring up your past. Your old associates. Even your family members, they're going to start to be a hater on you. They're going to start hating on you, right? Trying to bring up your past. Right? You're going to go through humiliation when, you have a connection with the Most High. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people, they don't try to throw your past up in your face saying that you have not changed. You know what I'm saying? They don't try to throw your past up in your face and say that you have, it can't be. It can't be. You know what I'm saying? This can't be you. You know what I'm saying? They're going to try to tempt you because that's what Satan does. They're going to try to tempt you with so many different things that you used to do. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, when the old man has been put to death, behold, all things become new. You know what I'm saying? Behold, all things become new. You know what I'm saying? So you guys got to understand, man, that Satan's going to bring up your past, man. Even your ex might come up. Your ex going to come up. Yep. They going to come up to try to attack you. Right? They're going to try to say, well, please give me one more chance. You know that they did you wrong. You know that they try to zap your energy. You know that they try to hinder your blessings. You know that they was trying to get you to have a relationship with them, instead of a relationship with God. You know that they were trying to get you to become emotionally attached to them instead of being emotionally attached to God. They was trying to do all this type of stuff. They was trying to get you to fall in love with them instead of you trying to fall in love with God. They're gonna try to say so many different things, saying that they're sorry. Don't take them back. Don't take them back. You know what I'm saying? You guys got to be smart, man, on this path, man, because spiritual warfare is heavy on this spiritual path when you connect to God. You know what I'm saying? But guess what? God, he'll raise up a standard up against these demonic spirits. He'll raise up a standard up against them. You know what I'm saying? He will. God will show these demonic people his wrath. You know what I'm saying? The Bible says, whom I got in my hand, no man can pluck him out. You ain't God's hand. Nobody can pluck you out. You ain't God's hand, man. So you gotta just, you just gotta understand that it's a test. See, when you spiritually minded, you can pass these tests. But when you worldly minded, you're carnal minded, you can't pass them. All right, guys. Number 5, guys. Satan will try to use distractions. This is another time you up under demonic attack. Satan's gonna try to use distractions in so many different ways, man. By using your friends, by using your family, by using your old habits. He gonna try to distract you with your old habits. It might pop up in your head like, man, I should do that. But you know that's wrong. Excuse me. Even though God forgives us, so many different times a day, right? Even though God forgives us so many times a day, that doesn't mean that we should, that's an excuse to sin. That ain't no excuse to sin. Because when you know better, you do better. You know what I'm saying? When you connect to God, you know better. So you're going to do better, guys. Hold on, guys. Yeah, but you guys got to understand, man. I just turned on the fan a little higher. But you guys got to understand that Satan is going to try to distract you in so many different ways. With like I said, with exes. If you're a female, your ex-boyfriend, he going to try to manipulate you. Right? He going to say, take me back. Even though he done cheat on you multiple times and told you that he was sorry and he kept doing it. Then you left him. Stay away from that demonic spirit. You know, he don't have God in his life. You know what I'm saying? He don't have God in his life. And you see, God give us that spirit of discernment to discern these demonic spirits in this earthly realm, right? Which is acclimated to Satan. Right? So you guys gotta understand, man, that it's a lot of spiritual. Satan will try to manipulate you. Guys, this is another sign you're putting a demonic attack. Satan's gonna try to manipulate you in so many different ways. He's gonna try to control you. You know what I'm saying? Because he don't want you to do the will of God. He wants to hinder you. Right? He wants to hinder you. He don't want you to grow. You know what I'm saying? He wants you to lean on his understanding. He don't want you to lean on God's understanding. Right? He don't. But you got to lean on God's understanding, man. So God can direct your path into the right direction. Right? So you can make it happen. But God, Satan gonna manipulate you in so many different ways, guys. People trying to scam you. People lying to you. People gaslighting you. You know, people doing so many different things. No, Satan will even try to use your own parents. They try to hinder your blessing. Try to manipulate you. If you're doing the will of God and you grown, not a kid. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, the kids, they're supposed to obey their parents. The Bible says the kids supposed to obey their parents, right? You're supposed to obey your parents because they the ones that's ruling over you, right? But when you grown and you know you're on the right path and you doing God's will, Satan will try to use your parents to try to manipulate you, right? Satan will try to use your friends and family to try to manipulate you, right? Because they don't have no purpose. They don't have they don't have a future, right? They don't have no goals, so they don't want to see you doing better than them spiritually, financially. So Satan gonna try to attack you. Satan gonna try to manipulate you and say, you know what? Don't go to college. It's not gonna work out. Don't start that online business. It's not gonna work out. That's Satan, right? They'll tell you, oh man, I heard about that, man. That's hard, bro. A lot of people that do it, they fail. You know, because they don't have the courage to do what you're doing. They don't have the God that's between you, you know, in them. They wish that they had the God that's within you in them to get up and accomplish your goals. But they don't have that. They have these demonic fallen angels, demons in them, these spirits, right? All right, guys. Number 7, Satan will try to get you to do wrong. Satan's going to try to get you to do wrong, guys. Yep. So you got to deviate from the carnal-minded thinking. You got to deviate from that. You know what I'm saying? You got to do away with it. You got to keep yourself busy, because this is why I tell you guys to always make sure you're keeping yourself busy. Because when you have an idle mind, that leaves room for chaos and confusion and drama. Yep. You know, and misery. You know what I'm saying? And misery loves company. Right? So it's going to put you at a low vibration. This is why I tell you guys to make sure that you are just imitating the universe. You know, the sun don't get up when it want. The stars don't get up. They don't shine when they want. Right? It always come out at a certain time. So you gotta have that discipline, you know, when it comes down to your life, to do things at a certain time. Always have the next day already planned out. Already have your next day planned out ahead of time. So you'll know what you're gonna do the next day. Right? Because you don't want to get up and not knowing what to do. Because it's going to leave room for chaos and confusion. You know what I'm saying? And this is why I tell you guys, man, you got to deviate from living off just your emotions. Y'all know we all got emotions, but you got to think logical. Write stuff down. What you going to do the next day. Just in case if you forget. But always, you know what I'm saying, have that mindset of thinking ahead. Right? Because it's going to leave room for chaos and confusion and drama and misery when you don't know what you're going to do the next day. You know what I'm saying? I understand that. I know what that feeling is like. This is why I tell you guys, if you don't have a purpose, exercise, ride your bike, go play basketball, volleyball, soccer or something. Go do something. Go to a park. Do something to keep yourself busy. All right, guys? Because Satan, he going to come in like a roaring lion inside your head. Satan will live rent-free. You know, the demons, they'll live rent-free in your head. If you got an idle mind, guys, all right? So you got to stay busy, man. But I appreciate you guys for watching this, man. But these are some signs that you're upon a demonic attack, man. Like I said, deviate from demonic people. Deviate from demonic places. You know, demonic thinking. Right? Stop negative stuff talking. You know, yourself. You know what I'm saying? Stop that negative self-talk. Right? Stop doubting yourself. Get away to cast out that fear. You know, the Bible said perfect love cast out